and we are delighted to be in the Liacoris Centre, March 15, St Patrick's Day weekend, live on DAZN for our first show in Philadelphia, the Fighting City. And we're here really for many reasons. Number one, of course, is because of your very own Tevin Farmer, who is here, going to be defending his IBF Super Featherweight Championship against Ireland's Jono Carroll, coming in from St Paddy's Day weekend, going for the world title, but so many other great fights on the card as well. And I've said it before, I'll say it again, in my opinion, well, my favourite fighter in boxing, full stop, right now is Katie Taylor, the current unified IBF and WBA lightweight championship of the world. Finally got her unification to pick up her third belt against Brazil's Rose Valente. She's deep in training camp, and a massive opportunity for Katie on Paddy's Day weekend, and welcome to her and the team, and Brian Peters, her manager, and everyone who's here today. We wouldn't be able to do this without our good friend Lou DiBella, and we've had our back and forwards over many, many years, but when you get something right, there's never any arguments, there's never any back and forwards, and I think this is what it is, our third fight with Tevin Farmer now, and we haven't had one argument yet, which means we're doing something right. Tevin Farmer is one of the most active fighters in the US market right now. He's certainly the most active world champion. He's making a lot of money, he's making a lot of noise. And I think the relationship with Lou DiBella has been fantastic, and he'll be coming up to say a few words shortly. We've got a fantastic undercard. How you doing? Give me 5. Don't leave me hanging. Come on. Come on. Yay! Okay, there you go. We got as well, it wouldn't be a Philadelphia show without King Gabe Rosado. I mean, this guy has done so much for the sport of boxing. He's been in so many great fights. And I'll tell you what, he has a great fight on March 15th against Maciej Sulecki. You saw Sulecki give Danny Jacobs a brilliant fight at the Barclays Centre not so long ago. Sulecki now top 5 with the WBO. And when you look at the middleweight landscape on DAZN, it's quite incredible. We've just made Canelo against Jacobs. I think it's the 2019 fight of the year, the unification of middleweight. Demetrius Andre just defended his WBO title. So these guys are right in the mix. And although I believe you should have won the fight in Kansas, you get another shot here in your hometown to be a real threat in the heavyweight division. Lundy against Sparrow. It's Philly against Philly. We needed this one on the card, and welcome to the team. And Russell Peltz is going to be coming up, saying a few words shortly. And we thank Russell for all his help here in Philly. But first of all, I have a very special announcement of a young man that's joining the Matchroom stable. Over the years, we have really prided ourselves in developing the best young talent in world boxing. When you look at the Olympics out of London, you look at Anthony Joshua, who won gold there. He went on, became the unified heavyweight champion of the world. Cal Yafai from that team, now the WBA super flyweight champion of the world. Callum Smith, that was on that GB team. We took him to WBA super middleweight champion of the world, Ring Magazine champion. Luke Campbell, who won gold in that Olympics, now going to be challenging for the WBC title. So many great fighters coming out of that system. And we want to do exactly the same in the US. We've already signed some unbelievable talent. Otha Jones 3 last week, Reshat Mati, Nikita Ababi. All these guys coming through, Diego Pacheco, Alexis Espino, 2 great Latino fighters. And now, I think potentially one of the very best we've signed so far. And of course, from here in Philly, making his debut on March 15. Welcome to the team, Raymond Floyd, everybody, making his pro debut on the team. An outstanding young talent, outstanding young talent. So we're going to get everybody up here to say a few words. We're going to just kick it off with Russell Peltz. Russell, I want you to come up and introduce the Sparrow versus Lundy fight, and also talk about King Gabe Rosado as well. Russell Peltz, everybody.
Which promoter do you think is dressed more prosperously? Eddie or myself? There's a tradition in the Jewish religion that a year after someone passes away, they have what's called an unveiling, where the family goes back to the cemetery and a few relatives come and some very good friends. And when my mom passed away in 75, and we went back the next year, we were all dressed in ties and jackets. And halfway through the 10-minute ceremony, a man showed up wearing a butcher's apron and a raggy jacket and dirty jeans. And when the ceremony was over, I said to my dad, I said, "Dad, does a guy come and dress like that for? Isn't it disrespectful that he's not wearing a tie and jacket? So he grabbed me by the arm and he said, son, that's Sam the Butcher. He works 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, and he took off time to get here from work, and I don't see any of your mother's other friends here. So with that in mind, I'm going to tell you that I got on a 6 a.m. plane from Florida where the women were complaining because it was 60 degrees, so I could get here in time for the press conference today and fly back tonight. And one more thing. You know you've been around a long time when you're promoting the Sons of Fighters. Most notably Cyclone Hart, who had most of his fights for me in the 70s, and now I've promoted some of Jesse Hart's fights. But you've really been around a long time when you've done business with the promoter's father. So in 1992, I was in Glasgow, Scotland, with a fighter you may remember named Tony Thornton, the punching postman. He challenged Chris Eubank for the WBO super middleweight title that night, and the promoter of the fight was a man named Barry Hearn. So we go back a long way with the Hearn family. Having said that, making a fight like Avery Sparrow and Hank Lundy in this century, to me, it was like making Ali Frazier 1. When you know all the problems we have here with Philly fighting Philly. But I'm sure you can all attest to the fact that there was more action over here than you saw in 12 rounds of Pacquiao-Broner the other night. And it's going to be like that the night of the fight. Anytime there's an inner-city rivalry in any city, it creates attraction. But in Philly, we could list all the wars and all the battles over the years. There's nothing like it. Okay, having said that, whether or not this is the changing of the guard, we don't know. We've got the veteran Hank Lundy against the young upstart Avery Sparrow. So we'll see what happens on March the 15th. Right now, I'd like to bring up Avery Sparrow.
How's everybody doing? I want to thank everybody for coming. I'm blessed for this opportunity to be here. Blessed for Eddie Hearn and Uncle Peltz and everybody else. Thankful for Hank Lundy for taking a fight. He didn't have to take a fight. I'm 9-1. I was ranked in the WBO in the top 13, which is part of the reason why I got this opportunity to fight somebody like Hank. Any other time, somebody 9-1 wouldn't fight a veteran like Hank, and I appreciate Hank for taking the fight. But come March 15th, it's all business, you know what I mean? Hank, he's been there. He had his world title shot. He came up short, and now it's my time, you know what I mean? I'm the young, hungry, explosive fighter. I have skills, I have experience. I've been around the amateurs for a long time, so come March 15th, I'm gonna show the world that this opportunity, I'm not gonna let it pass up, and Hank Lundy, he will be going to sleep. Thank you.
So when I called Hank Lundy and we talked about the fight, he said, oh, come on, Russell. He's your fighter. I said, wait a second. I said, you're a Philly fighter. You don't turn anybody down. I said, I'm not turning it down. I'm just letting you know I know what I'm up against. So the veteran Hank Lundy, who's been around, let's bring him up.
First, I'd like to thank, Eddie Hearn, Russell, Jimmy Birchfield, Tevin Farmer, for bringing this fight to Philadelphia. You don't want to miss none of the fights. Everybody on this card, man, is going to be exciting, man. So y'all don't want to miss none of it. I mean, none of it. If y'all miss something, y'all might have to fight me outside, because I do fight outside too. You know what I mean? We're going to keep it all real. But, Avery, 9-1 guy, his fight, one of them, they took his win away, We ain't going to put that out there what happened, but just know, I know. And to beat Hank Lundy, you got to live a clean life. You know what I mean? If you ain't living right outside the ring, it's going to show inside the ring. And one thing about Hank Lundy, we all know, I'm a dog. I'm a dog, and I got a mean bite. You know what I mean? And this bite is real. And I'm coming to hurt. Fight time come, I'm telling you what I'm coming for, and you won't see it, because it's going to come from you. I'm coming for blood. Yeah, I'm for Clark. Yeah, pound for pound champ. Hank Lundy was going to war with him. You know what I mean? But listen, this is what I said to him. It's either going to be him or me. I went out there trying to knock him out. He got me, so be it. You know what I mean? I'm a real fighter. I'm a dog. I'm a real fighter. Fight night, listen, there's no more to be said. Eddie, niggas, I'm willing to work with you. Send that contract. This young pup going to sleep. You know what I mean? This young pup going to sleep. That's the end. Thank you for the opportunity.
Quick story, I go into the gym in South Philly around 1979. I was working with a fighter you might know named Jeff Chandler. He was on the verge of the top 10, on the way to a Hall of Fame career. I said, Jeff, we're fighting Jose Resendez from Arizona next month. And Jeff knew all the fighters in the country. And Resendez had a record of about 18 and 15. And Jeff turned around and looked at me and said, can't you get me anybody better than that? That's what Gabe Rosado is. Gabe Rosado has turned down fights because he told me he couldn't get motivated for them. I know he'll be motivated for this fight, but that's my kind of fighter, a guy who only wants the big fights. He is the epitome of what we once knew to be Philadelphia fighters. Not guys who fight out of Philadelphia, but Philadelphia fighters. And he's in a career-making, well, no. He's in a career-changing fight. He wins this fight. He's got, to me, he's in line for another shot at a world title. King Gabriel Rosado.
What's up, y'all? First and foremost, I want to thank God for this great opportunity, being back home. I want to thank Russell Peltz, we go way back, Eddie Hearns for the opportunity. You know, it's just exciting to be back in Philadelphia. This is where it all started. You know what I'm saying? Sparrow and Hank, I could relate to that. I mean, I don't know if y'all was there when I fought Derek Ennis. That was like a Philly war. I mean, the two top guys in the city, the place was packed. You remember that? You know what I'm saying? And I think the fire marshal like had to like turn it down, right? So many people was in the building. But you know, this is where it started, man. You know, where I grind. I mean, I was coming up out here working a graveyard shift, making $10 an hour. I mean, busting my ass. You know, me and Russell together, we got ranked #1 in the world at 154. And then we just took it from there, man. So I haven't fought in Philly since like 2012. So this is homecoming for me, man. So, you know, it all started in Philly, coming back now. It's a great fight. And I believe that this is the second half of my career. I mean, I think I looked great in my last fight. You know what I'm saying? And everybody's surprised because they're like, yo, they want to see a war. But I'm wise. I feel like I can control the pace, be smart. But this fight's in Philly, man, so I'm definitely going to put on a show. I mean, I'm going to bring it to Selesky. You know, he's not here. I thought he was going to be here, but, you know what I'm saying? It's just great to be home. Family's going to be out here, friends, and it's exciting. And congrats to Tevin Farmer. Like, I mean, you know, me and Ted would have conversations, man. I remember Ted, like, he reminded me so much of me. Because he'd be like, I want to fight this guy, I want to fight this guy. I'd be like, yo, your time gonna come, bro, trust me, keep doing what you're doing, right? I tell him, man, keep doing what you're doing. And it's like, he wanted it so bad, and I saw myself in him. I mean, it was like when I told Russ, I said, let's fight Triple G. We had a mandatory to fight K9 at 154. I would have won that fight easy at 154 and become world champion. But we stepped up, 160 and fought Triple G. They was gonna give us a catch weight. I said, nah, bro, no catch weight. I'm gonna fight him at middleweight, 160. And that's just the same mentality Tev had. So I just told him, trust me, bro, keep doing what you're doing. Your time's coming. And look, he back in Philly, defending his title. And that's what's up, man. So everybody here, man, no doubt, bro. Everybody here, man, love. Can't wait, Philly, let's turn up.
Thank you, Russell. Thank you, Gabe. And thank you to Sparrow and Lundy. It's going to be a great fight. Nothing like a little bit of intercity rivalry. I'm going to bring up now this young man. This is his first professional press conference. So we'll see how he does. So far, the US team that have turned pro with us, some have been good talkers, not bad. Some have said 1 or 2 words, but I think this young man can fight. We have a little bit of a problem because you're going to know him as Ray Savage Ford, or Raymond Savage Ford. But I want him to be Sugar Ray Ford. I just thought that was right. So he said no, I say yes, we're going to argue about that later. So for now, with his first speech, professional press conference from Philadelphia. Ladies and gentlemen, Raymond Savage Fall.
First off, I want to make a correction. I'm not from Philly. I'm from Camden, New Jersey. That's right across the bridge. But first I want to thank God, you know, just for blessing me with this opportunity to sign to a major promotion like Matchroom Boxing. I want to thank Eddie Hearn for keeping a lookout for me since the Golden Gloves. Yeah, and just for giving me the opportunity to showcase my talents to the world, and I want to show the world why I'm special. So, look out for me.
As far as I'm concerned, for this show, you're from Philadelphia, right? We'll change it after. Okay. As I said earlier, like, if you have the opportunity to watch the film Katie, you must do it. It's on iTunes, it's on every major platform to download right now, because this is an incredible story of a true fighter. This young lady was responsible for women's boxing being in the Olympic Games. She had to go and showcase her skills to convince a committee that they should allow women's boxing in the Olympic Games. In Ireland, she is a queen, a god of boxing. And right now in the professional game, which is flourishing in women's boxing, she, in my opinion, stands out as the pound-for-pound #1. And on March the 15th, on St. Patrick's Day weekend in Philadelphia, she will get an opportunity to win another world title and unify the division once more before being one step away from being the undisputed champion. She's the 6-time European amateur champion. She's a 5-time world amateur champion. She's an Olympic gold medalist as well. And now she's the IBF WBA lightweight champion of the world. From Bray Island, ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Katie Taylor, please.
Thank you so much. I never really have a lot to say, but it's great to be here in Philadelphia. It's such a great fighting city, and you know, I can't wait for March the 15th to have a chance to unify the division again. And I'm one step closer to becoming the undisputed champion, which has always been my ultimate goal. Thank you so much to the Zone and Eddie Hearn and Matchroom for making these fights happen. This is exactly what boxing needs, the best fighting the best. And yeah, I can't wait for March 15th to showcase the skills again. And yeah, it's great to be here, and it's such a privilege to be fighting in Philadelphia, so I can't wait. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. Before I bring up the champion, this young man, we have a saying in England, I don't know if it's allowed here or if it's, you know, rude or what, but... Okay. He's full of spunk, right? That's the saying, full of spunk. What that means is this guy's got a big set of cojones. He's got a massive personality and he can really fight. I saw him a while ago win our prize fighter tournament, and I saw him on our show. We had him on our show in Dublin, a fantastic talent. And unfortunately, for some strange reason, he ended up going with another promoter. And I was watching him on TV, and every time I was watching him, I was sitting there with my voodoo doll, and I was thinking, lose, you bastard, lose. But he wouldn't. He kept on winning, and he kept up climbing up the IBF rankings. And he's now got a huge following in the UK, in Ireland, because he's a massive personality. And literally a couple of months ago, I spoke to MTK and I said, look, I believe I can get him a final eliminator, and then I think him against Tevin Farmer is a great fight. St. Patrick's Day weekend. These two have been going at it on social media non-stop. And now, Jono Carroll sits one fight away from winning the IBF Super Featherweight Championship of the world. I know this man has massive dreams, and it's going to take a lot to beat him on March 15th. He's a great fighter. There's going to be huge Irish support in the arena. There's going to be huge Philly support. But right now, the challenger for the IBF Super Featherweight Championship of the world from Ireland, Jono Carroll.
Thank you for having me. I just want to say thank you to Eddie. It's been a real pleasure. Like, I went pro in Australia, and to be honest, it was like, I just went into a gym to spar. Something was pulling me towards the gym, went there and sparred. I've been out of the ring for like 2 years at this stage. So for me to go in, I sparred this fella who was like 4 hours professional, and I done really well, you know. And it was like the coach asked me to turn pro. So I just turned pro, didn't really think anything of it. I just done it, you know what I mean? Why not? So, anyway, done that, had 2 fights in Australia, came home, wasn't really thinking I was going to box. It wasn't really a big, I was working, do you know what, I was actually applying for this job, washing bleeding cars and everything, you know, it was ridiculous. I was doing scaffolding, I was doing painting, I was doing loads of stuff in Australia. And then I just got a phone call that there's a massive fight happening in the Tree Arena. And I thought he was meant to be one of Ireland's next biggest prospects, basically. And yeah, had a crazy controversial press conference. I don't know what it is with me in press conference, but I always have beef at press conference. But we had a bit of beef with him, and then the fight ended up being exceptional, you know, it was an exciting fight. And then from that fight, I got the prize fighter. So like, if I hadn't have been for Matchroom and for MDK, even in the first place, I probably would have just gave up and walked away from boxing. But here I am today, fighting in America. This is where dreams are made of, you know. So for me, this is amazing. And I want to thank everyone for Philly, even though I had a bit of beef. I love this town. This is the first time I've ever been. Oh, I ain't copping out, motherfucker. You're gonna get yours, don't worry about it. But here, you'll get your turn to speak. Psst, little man in the back here. But anyway, now listen, this is where I'm gonna win my world title. So for me, this place is gonna be history in my family, you know, going on and on and on. My grandkids are gonna hear stories about Philly. So I'm proud to be here today. I don't care what this little pea-brain in the back says. All I'm saying is I'm gonna take his title. And something just keeps dragging me towards boxing. And I just keep getting these fights and I keep winning these fights. Like, I was always an underdog. Most of my fights I've been an underdog. And I just keep winning and winning and winning. Even though Eddie was poking that little doll, I've been still doing it, you know? So here I am here today. I'm gonna take Tevin Farmer's belt. Mark my words. March 15th, Tevin Farmer's not gonna know what hit him. He hasn't been tested before. He hasn't been tested before. So we are gonna see what's gonna happen. And listen, if he can beat me, I will take my hat off and say he's a great man. Because it's gonna take a great man to beat me. For the world title, shit. Easy work. Yeah, right, son. Easy work. Yeah, right. Listen, Tevin knows he's in for a battle. You all know he's in for a battle. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see, mate. Listen, this is gonna be fun. All I'm gonna say is, text me on Twitter, apologize that or spank your boy, alright?
Thank you, Jono. You are a great underdog. And when you talk about underdogs, this guy right here is right at the top of the tree. I have to say, going back to UK and the Britain, if this young man was British, not only would his entire city turn up, the entire country would turn up. And I feel that's what's wrong a little bit with American boxing right now. If you can't support this young man, if you can't support this story, from Philadelphia and the entire USA, then I'm shocked. Because when you talk about underdogs, when you talk about people that shouldn't be here, when you talk about people that have fought so hard to provide for his family and to get to this stage, if Philadelphia doesn't fill that arena on March 15, then you've got something wrong with yourselves. Because this young man is someone that Philadelphia and the whole of America should be very, very proud of. To introduce him and to say a few words, I'm going to call up his long-time promoter and now co-promoter with myself, with Tevin Farmer. Ladies and gentlemen, Lou DeBella.
Thank you, Eddie. This is going to be a great night on March 15th, St. Paddy's Day weekend here in Philly. I'm looking forward to this. I get the opportunity to work with some people I haven't had a chance to work with a lot lately. Michelle Rosado, the Raging Babe, one of the up-and-coming young promoters in the country. Russell Peltz. I'm not going to call you an old man, Russell, but you're one of the few guys now older than me. And Russell's a Hall of Famer for a reason, one of the great promoters in the history of boxing, and this is his town. He promoted some of the great Philadelphia fighters. And the term Philly fighter has a real meaning, and it's a term that's, I think even in Ireland people know what Philly fighter means, you know? Philly fighter is, well maybe not. You might find out on March 15th. But Philly fighter means guts and heart and effort. Philly fighters are gym rats. Philly fighters, as Hank Lundy so aptly said, are dogs. You know, Philly fighters are dogs. And this card has some real representative Philly fighters on it. And Mr. Sparrow, and Hank, and Gabe Rosado, who's a warrior. and in Tevin Farmer, who's got one of the great Rocky stories, one of the great underdog stories in the history of boxing. You got to go far and wide to find a kid that started 7-4-1 to go on over 20 wins in a row to win a world title. I mean, that doesn't happen very often. Oh, by the way, before I got to mention the great Katie Taylor, because you are the great Katie Taylor. A great representative of women's boxing. I'm a big proponent of women's boxing. She is a superstar in Ireland, literally. I don't think there's a bigger athlete in Ireland right now than Katie Taylor. And it's going to be a treat for Philly fans to get to see her on St. Paddy's Day weekend. But going back to Tevin Farmer, not a lot of people know this, and Tevin talks about it sometimes, but not a lot. But Tevin's great-great-uncle is literally one of the greatest fighters who ever laced on gloves. Joe Gans is a legend. He's a Hall of Famer. I think that Russell would agree. If you go to most historians and you go, who are the 10 best fighters in the history of boxing, Joe Gans' name is going to be on most of those lists. So I was looking at Joe Gans' record when my Sean, who works for me, was nice enough to drive the car, and I could sit back and relax on the 3-hour drive here. And Joe Gans in 1904 fought 13 times. And I was sort of blown away looking at that. And then I went back to 1902, when Joe Gans fought 19 times. 19-0, by the way, in 1902. That doesn't happen ever anymore. But on March 15th, Tevin Farmer is going to fight his 4th title fight in 7.5 months. And I went over the last 50 years of boxing, and I couldn't find a champion in the United States that fought 4 title fights in under 8 months. And then I started looking, but I obviously didn't have the time to research this, and maybe someone out there will come up with somebody I'm not thinking of. But in the last 50 years, I couldn't find anybody in the world that fought 4 title fights in under 8 months. 3 defenses. This will be his 3rd defense of the title on March 15th. He won the title in August. And by the way, I owe that thanks to Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Boxing and DAZN USA, so does Tevin, for making that possible. When we sat down and we talked to Eddie, before Tevin made his co-promotional deal with Eddie and his deal with DAZN, Tevin said one of the most important things to me is I want to be an active champion. I'm not the kind of guy that can sit back and not fight. I need to fight. Eddie said the one thing I can promise you is you will fight. Eddie, you kept your word, and I'm thankful for that. I know Tevin's thankful for that. Tevin Farmer is, when you look at that definition of Philadelphia fighter, he's on that list. And he's a Philadelphia champion. This is a homecoming for him. This is a great opportunity on March 15th to show what he has. I've known this guy, I've been following him for a while, and by the way, also, like, at this point, you've surpassed Lamont Peterson. You have the best beard, literally, in boxing. He also throws more punches. He's more active. I said this to him earlier. Like, you know, sometimes guys have certain skill levels, but you make up for things in other ways. He may be one of the most fit guys I've ever seen in a ring. He throws and throws and throws and never stops throwing, no matter how difficult that fight is, no matter who he's in with. He's going to give 110%. You know, I know Tevin, I said this to him earlier, I'm not going to let you look past this one, but I know you're not anyway. But Jono Carroll's going to bring it. And particularly on St. Paddy's Day weekend in his first fight in the United States, and his first shot at a world title. All right, so he's going to bring it. But the guy that he's going to bring it to is going to give it right back. And I'm really proud to introduce my friend, a champion, a Philly fighter, Tevin Farmer.
First, I want to thank God. You know, without God, none of this would be possible, first of all. I want to thank everybody for coming out. Definitely Philadelphia. Got to thank Philadelphia, Matchroom Boxing, Eddie Hearn, Lou DiBella, and DAZN. Bro, that's not a Philly bear, first of all. It's not a Philly bear. You said something about a bear. That's not a Philly bear. You got to go to the sides right here, look. Second, you only got this fight because I chose you. You ain't get it because you had a 2-fight deal, whatever you said you had. You supposed to win that mandatory. You didn't win. You got a draw. You was talking shit. I said, Eddie, bring him here. That's number 2. Number 3, I'm tired. No disrespect, but I'm tired of beating. I just beat your cousin. You know what I'm saying? James Tennyson. I stopped him, and I'm tired of beating y'all. So you gotta listen. You gotta listen. You listen. You have to come and bring your best, and you gotta win. All that. I ain't trying. Listen, and all that sad story, all that trying to come over here with this sad shit. Yeah, I did it. No, they with me. You're not gonna convince them. They with me, bro. They with me. Ain't no convincing. So I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna beat your ass. I'm gonna beat your ass. I'm gonna beat you the fuck up. Bad. That's how you say it. I'm feeling. I'm gonna beat you the fuck up. I promise to God. And no. Listen, listen. Shut up. Let me talk. Let me talk. I'm a man like you. But oh my goodness, you just for fucking. What's the guy's name for nose? What's his name for nose? For nose? I don't know how to pronounce that shit. How you get a draw? Listen, he said, yo, listen, you look past, you look past that guy, you look past him, he looked past him and got a fucking draw. So this is what we gonna do. Remember on Twitter, I tweeted you say I'm cocky. I don't know where the fuck you get that from. But I don't think I'm cocky. But listen, I'm gonna be cocky today. I post up a picture, right? You know the picture, nigga. I see, let's bet 20 grand since you think you can beat me, right? How much you making? How much you making? That's bet 50. How much you making? Motherfucker. That's bet 50. No, that's bet 50. I bought 50 here if you want bet. You don't want shit. You ain't gonna get, I'm gonna beat his ass. I'm sorry. And I don't even get like this, but he been talking crazy. And the only reason why I took him because he been talking shit. And then he gonna say, I'm not what? Let's keep this at boxing. I appreciate everybody for coming out, and especially my Philly boys. You know how we rocking. And after I beat your ass, I may take you for a cheesesteak. and we ain't gonna go to Max's. We ain't gonna go to Geno's. We gonna go to the Poppy store, motherfucker. They got the best cheesesteak, the corner store. I'm gonna beat your ass, man. And shout out to the UK. Shout out to everybody across the world, man. I'm Tevin Farmer, and I came from nothing. And it's a privilege to fight in Philadelphia. Especially to headline in Philadelphia, because at one point I was the underdog in Philadelphia, and I kept believing in myself. Lou DiBella also believed in me, and Eddie Hearn believed in me, and I can't forget about my team. I got a hell of a team, man. I have a hell of a team, and without the team, it's a lot. I can name them, but we got I'm gonna name them. Fuck it, I got all day. We got Raul Rivas, Chino. He like the brain. I'm Pinky. You got Raheem Jefferson. He brings something totally. Hold on. Raheem Jefferson brings something totally different than Chino. Totally different trainers, but it's all compatible. Then you got Nick Rosario. He brings something different from them two. You got Coach Ant. You got Reg. You got everybody brings something different, man. And that's what makes Tevin Farmer. And with my drive and my will to win, I believe we're unstoppable. And this year, I'm looking to be on the pound for pound list on everything I love. I'm gonna try to fight 4 or 5 times, maybe 6 if I can, and keep making money and keep doing my thing, man. Thank you.
Thank you, Tevin. Thank you, Jono. Thank you, everybody. As always, as well, we want to thank DAZN, our US broadcasting partners. It's been an incredible ride so far, only 3 or 4 months in, but in a marketplace right now that's bringing you pay-per-view events every month, charging you $80, $90. These guys are doing it for free. They're doing it part of a subscription plan, $9.99 a month. We just had Demetrius Andrade. We just had Jamie Munguia last week in a great fight. You've got Machado coming up. You've got our March. All our shows from the UK as well. You've got the World Boxing Super Series. You've got March the 9th. Bivol against Joe Smith and Maurice Hooker. It's a great fight. You've got March 15 here. It's just an incredible lineup. And of course, Canelo against Jacobs. No more $80, $90 to watch that fight. All part of your subscription. DAZN is doing big things, and what a great time for fighters in the US. We want to thank Philadelphia. Of course, I cannot wait to put this show on. Thank you to Russell and Michelle and all the team. We're going to push this really, really hard. You have a responsibility as well to spread the gospel of this show, to spread the gospel of Tevin Farmer and all the great fights on this card, to make sure that Philly becomes a regular stop on the Matchroom Boxing Roadshow. So we're going to have head-to-heads up here with the 2 guys, Lundy and Sparrow, and also Farmer and Carroll, and everyone's going to be available for one-on-ones, and we'll see you back in Philly very, very soon. Thank you very much for coming out today. Thank you.
Thank you.